All right, let's keep things moving here on Box to Row. We're joined by a gentleman who is in his second season as the head football coach at Lincoln of Missouri. The Blue Tigers are 2-0 on the season and going to play Quincy on Saturday. Moses Harper joins us here on Box to Row. Coach Harper, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mr. Ware, thank you for having me today. Look forward to this conversation and trying to shed some light on people about Lincoln University.
Absolutely. You're off to a nice start. Just talk about it, 2-0. Man, I've been doing this a long time, Coach Harper. I can't remember a time recently anyway that the Blue Tigers started off 2-0.
Yeah, well, when you look at the history, right now we're competing with this team back from 1972 because every time we reach a milestone, that's who it's compared to. So looking forward to what we've done and trying to continue to move. Opening this season up and going 1-0 versus Lincoln out of California. Felt real good of some things we executed and did in week one in front of our home crowd and found a way to win on the road. That was also a first for this group last year because one game we won last year was at home for homecoming. We found a way to face some adversity a week ago against Lane College in a hostile environment, and our kids was leading 14-0. And turned around going into the fourth quarter, we were down 15-14. They scored and went up a point, and we had a 83-yard kickoff return by a freshman who took the lead back for us, put us back in a situation where we could control that game and get out with a victory.
Yeah, what did it mean? I mean, to be up and then to be down and then to be able to come back from that and pull that victory out?
Well, I think it showed us a lot about this group and what we've been working for since the spring of last year, trying to figure out, can they face a little adversity? Will they let each other down when things start getting tough? You know, at one point in the game, we had a snap between the quarterback's leg. We had to kick it out for a safety. They drove down and scored, killed about 8 minutes off the clock. And here we are as an offense thinking, all right, we got to go out here and get the lead back. And special teams played a major part for us. So even though everything didn't go statistic-wise for you offensively, I think as a team as a whole, all three phases of the game, we found a way to get it done.
Yeah, and you certainly were able to do that. Let me take you back to last year. One win in your first season last year. What's been the difference so far this season? You're off to the 2-0 start.
Just want to keep coaching the culture. And I preach that to the coaches. I preach that to the kids. No matter what we do, how it goes on Saturday, we're here to build a program. That's when I took this job. My eyes were set to say, let's go build a program. Yeah, I have a bunch of people who told me, hey, man, what are you doing taking that job? But if you don't bet on yourself, who will? So you bet on yourself, you take an opportunity, and you continue to want to build a program. Everything we do here is day-to-day to get better and try to continue to coach the culture. So that's in the classroom, that's in the community. Everything we do within this program, it's always we're trying to coach the culture. That's the whole saying, our foundation, discipline, accountability, toughness. That's what we stand for. And that's the foundation was laid last year. The kids who committed to be here, we had 85 kids commit to be here in the summer. We retained 85% of our roster. That's tough in college football today. So that means kids are buying into what we're doing here. They want to be a part of this institution and part of this program. And I think the foundation on that and what we're doing week to week, and I think it's starting to show on the scoreboard.
Moses Harper, he's in his second season as the head football coach at Lincoln of Missouri. He joins us here on Box to Row. Your quarterback, Isaiah Tate, can you speak to how he's played so far through a couple of games, 5 touchdowns, a couple of interceptions? He's completing 66% of his passes.
Well, it's just watching him grow from year one to year two. His composure and understanding what I need from him at the quarterback position. And this offensive system is not where he has to go out and win the game. He just has to do a great job at managing the game and get the ball to his playmakers and let them make plays. And I think going from year one to year two, he's understood that more than anything. And obviously spending more time with me. He did 2 springs and 2 summers with me now, and he's going into he's in his second fall with me. And he's been a lot more poised, and the kids are loving to play around him. And he's kind of set himself to say that he is the guy for us in that QB position. And he's been playing very well the last 2 weeks.
And then you've been able to put some pressure on the quarterback through 2 games. And looking at some of the national stats, you're tied for number 12 right now in terms of sacks per game. From a defensive perspective, can you just, speak to putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks?
Well, we try to keep things moving up front. You know, Coach Miller and his staff on the defense side of the ball have done a fantastic job at trying to mix things up. You know, in any football game, is one up front, O-line, D-line, and they've done a great job at doing some twists and stunts and sending some pressure after the quarterback, mixing some things up on the back end. Keep the quarterback guessing. You know, we're not out there to compete against the offensive coordinator. We're out there to compete against the quarterback and get some things done along those lines.
What recruiting can you speak? You mentioned having 85 kids, in the program and then retaining 85% of those kids. But what's, you know, how were you able to recruit kids from last year? I mean, again, from a historical standpoint, it hasn't gone well for Lincoln, but you were in a a familiar conference in the GLVC. So speak to, offseason and recruiting and then also in this day and age, being able to retain, a lot of the players, including your quarterback tape.
Yeah, well, we started with a map. We started with a map of recruiting, and we drew a line of what we wanted to do. And I think this is a great situation because there's 8 states that touch the state of Missouri, and all 8 of those states get in-state tuition here. So we focus on getting the in-state tuition guys, and we got some major cities: Memphis, Chicago, Little Rock. Actually, Texas is in-state for us. So we're able to dabber into Texas and get some kids out of there. California junior colleges are in-state for us. So we're able to utilize and go get some specialists and go get some guys from those areas. So we kind of focus on what is financially stable for us to go out and get some quality guys. And we recruit high school players. We want guys who want to come in and play. We have a lot of freshmen playing for us now. We recruit high school players, guys who want to come to a program, get a great education, and develop and see their 4 years and see how it go. The retention is people bought in. They bought into what we're doing. And guys getting to play in the rule where they get to play 3 to 4 games and still keep their red shirt eligibility. We try our best to get guys in some situations so they can get some game experience. I think that's carried a lot of weight for us.
Again, Moses Harper, he's in his second season as the head football coach at Lincoln of Missouri. He joins us here on the program. What is it going to do? Well, even before I get to Quincy, which is the conference game, GLVC, speak to the conference in the toughness of the GLVC.
Well, we got picked to finish last. So my group, every day we take the field and practice and get ready for this game, you have nothing to lose because people pick you last. You are the underdog. So I don't think this group is playing like an underdog. So they understand and what's at stake. But our motto, man, we just want to go 1-0 each week. And you hear the kids, we say, keep stacking. How can we continue to get better day to day? It starts on Sunday. What we do the Saturday after a game, we got to get back and go to work. Take your Monday off, get your film study in, and each day we want to keep stacking. Moving into this conference, we know how they look at us. So this conference, I'll be honest, this conference look at us the same way the HBCU world looks at us. We the kid that's outside looking in. We don't get the same respect from the HBCUs as we will want. That's why we try to get more of them as non-conference games. And people, when we went down the lane, people were yelling at us, we're a real HBCU. So what does that make us? So we want to try to prove to ourselves that we can compete with anybody. And rolling into conference play, we want to try to go in and compete and put the best product on the football field and see what the scoreboard says at the end of the day.
I guess that had to be some motivation against Lane right there, saying you're not. I mean, look, Lincoln of Missouri's got a heck of a history. Lincoln of Missouri's got a heck of a history. Look, I realize lately it hasn't been great, and really for quite some time it hasn't. But when you look at it from Lamar Parrish went to Lincoln of Missouri. Like, that had to be extra motivation for your team hearing stuff like that at last week's game.
Absolutely. Well, our kids was just stretching and they came out and, everybody started talking and, and my group done a really good job at being composure and focus on when the whistle blows, we'll show you what we can do. And that's the program I'm trying to build. And so, like you said, Lamar Parrish, I had the privilege of speaking with him. Actually, his great nephew is on this football team. And had a privilege to see him be inducted into the Black College Hall of Fame. I was there for that night. So to have someone like that to talk on the phone and give full support, because he was once a coach here as well. And I think what we're doing here and what people continue to hear, the alumni starting to come back in the fold and get on board with the football program and try to see us have some success.
Last thought, and we appreciate the time. Your thoughts on Quincy? What are some of the challenges that Quincy presents?
They have a really good quarterback. He's a true freshman. If you look the kid up, he like top 3 in all statistics and quarterbacks in the state of Illinois. They do a really good job of keeping him within his frame and not doing too much. He's had some success for him there. I think he was like conference player of the week 0. Defensively, they're experienced. A lot of kids returned from last year. So we're trying to see where we match up with them. We got some skilled guys out here on the other end, but again, it's going to come down to O-line, D-line up front for us and them. This is probably going to be a very physical game. Nobody's going to want to make the mistake first. Like I told some people earlier, the first half is probably going to be long and boring because it's going to say, hey, let's stop the run and let's see who makes the mistake first and capitalize. But I think if we go out and execute on offense and do what we've been doing on defense, and our kicking game has been phenomenal in the first 2 wins, if we continue to do these things, I think we can try to figure to get this done.
Moses Harper, again, in his second season as the head football coach at Lincoln, Missouri, joins us here on Box to Row. The Blue Tigers are 2-0 on the season and going to take on Quincy on Saturday. Coach Harper, we really appreciate the time. Continued success to you and the Blue Tigers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us. Again, Lincoln University of Missouri, we are an HBCU, and we are a real HBCU. We got the Divine Nine, and everybody here celebrates just like everywhere else. I'm a boy from a small town out of Mississippi, so I know black college football. I grew up watching Jackson State, Alcorn, Southern, and Grambling. So if you're ever in the area, come out and check these guys out. They play fast, they play fun, they play together. I'm excited to watch them play on Saturday.